Hello. Uh, this will be my attempt at recording a workshop for a custom Java element that is for routing a customer to different locations. So some of this will be based off what we do in other projects, and some of it will be based off of what I've learned from the GDF dcloud demo. So, and I'm not going to start from scratch. I'm going to kind of walk you through my application as well as provide all of the steps that I went through and anything that I think that I would have liked to know as I went through this process. First, this is definitely precursored by the GDF setup in dcloud. There is a page that you can use to do that, or Umang has an amazing video series on it, and it will take you step by step through that dcloud setup, or that GDF setup process. Is my understanding. I didn't actually use that. I used the page, but from my understanding, that'll take you through that process. And I've watched real quickly through it, and it looks like that's correct. So, first things first, I want to show you. You're going to need, obviously, you've got these sections right up here, which allows you to switch from Java to Builder. You're going to want to develop your Java custom element in the Java side and not the Builder side, because it'll show you, you'll have all the different things on here that you would not get otherwise. So I'll walk you through what the elements are of the app call flow that are just GDF, and then I'll show you separately the custom Java element when we get to that point. So start a call. So every call. Let me see here. Sorry. Java dialog flow. All right. So here's my dialog flow agent. So you should already have this set up. For this application, I'm not doing anything tricky in Dialogflow. It's real simple. I just did 3 intents. One says car, one says truck, and one says motorcycle. But those are the 3 different departments, you would say, that I'm considering for departments for this. So like if it was a hospital, maybe it would be pulmonary and other specialties, right? But for this, I've just done 3 things: car, motorcycle, truck. So we start the call. This just is normal text to speech, and then we get to the GDF element. So the GDF element has the service account ID, which matches my agent in here, and so this will take the audio input and match it to an intent. So after it says, you can say things like car, motorcycle, truck. You say car. It's going to search in here for your intent. Car, motorcycle, truck. All right. And then here I'm saying thank you, and then I'm taking that data and I'm storing it in the session data. Rakesh has suggested that is something that you should do, just so that you can access it from any point. It's more of a best practice thing. So I'm taking the data from the element input right here, and I am turning it into a variable on the session called intent. All right. So here is where the custom element comes into play. So I'm going to put the walkthrough of the app call flow on hold here, and I'm going to go over here to show you, to walk through my Java code. So this is here I have created, and this is separate, a Java test project. And I will not redo this, but I'll show you what I did. So you would go in here and you would create a Java project. You would name it something here, and then you click finish. Just use the default, and then later on you're going to have to import the JRE, and I'll show you where that is. But just for now, use the default, and then you can change this in the Call Studio settings later on. So go ahead and create the project, and then when you create the project, it should create a folder. It should automatically create a source folder, and then you can go in and click on the source folder and do new package, and you would want to name it with this naming convention, something like com example your application, or in another scenario you would think com spin sci, com spin sci Dallas water, or com spin sci Colorado children, or CCH mainline, or something like that, right? So you got your package, and then inside of your package you're going to want to create a class. So new and then class. All right. So in your class, you're going to have to import a few things. You're going to have to import your these two right here are the ones that are going to matter for creating a decision. And there's two types of Java classes that we would use, is decision and action. This is a decision element, so it'll return different exit states based on what's being evaluated in the Java class. So this needs to be imported, these two, and then you're going to have to extend the decision element base, which is allows you to do certain things inside of your class. So we've got this code, and I'll just walk you through what it does. So it starts with this is just in case something happens in the middle. At the end, you're going to call the exit state. So exit state starts with error. Well, the exit state starts with blank, and once you get in here, it starts with error. This is the Google JSON, which is a JSON reader. So we've gotten here, sets the string intent as blank. It's just declaring that variable. The same with these two. It's gets the session data of intent, which is what we set earlier in the audio when we saved it to the session data. So it gets that intent, and it says if it's not null and it's not a blank string, then intent equals that intent in the session. So now we've got intent set in this local variable here. And then it replaces everything that's not a lowercase or an uppercase or a number with a blank space, and just resaves that value. And now it's checking if that intent string is truck or car or motorcycle with the ignore case, then, or if it's not one of those three, then it sends you through the exit state try again. So as we go through here and I hit exit states, I'm going to go back to the call flow and show you what I'm doing. So this exit state try again is corresponding with, it goes this way. Let me see if I can, yeah, try again goes there. So it goes back here and it plays this audio. Come on now. Make you bigger. Sorry, I missed that. And then it takes you back through. So from here to the audio, sorry, I missed that. You can say things like car, truck, or motorcycle, and back into GDF. Obviously, you're going to do things in a real router with a customer, like a max times through this loop, because people are going to get fed up. Things like 3 times through, and then you're going to want to send it to an agent, or obviously, in some scenarios you might want to send it to an agent immediately, depending on what's what happens. But in this one, if it's not an actual value of one of those 3, car, truck, or motorcycle, but it is a valid intent, it's going to go through here and send it back. All right. So that'll just take you back through the dialog flow, back to the Java class. So it tells you through try again. Here is where I am reading that file. The file is a JSON file that I created. It's actually using most of the values from Colorado Children's that I'm working on. So, some of it is not actually used. I don't think I used this one, but I changed the values that matter. So you're calling about car, is that right? You're calling about truck, is that right? You're calling about motorcycle, is that right? Got it. So it'll ask you this first, and then it'll say this if it's yes, and then this is what it says when it transfers you, and then this is the priority queue that it's going to send you to. I'm not actually sending it to a priority queue, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But this is what determines where it goes once it's sent. So this is opening that file. It's just on my desktop, and that file for other places might be massive. This is just the 3: car, truck, motorcycle. So setting up that tree map from the file for root, a bunch of declaration of variables. All right, it says if root get intent, so intent is the value that we're looking for. So let's say we say car, then intent is car. So root get car, that's going to go into this file and look for car and get all of the values of car. So it's going to return this. If it's root get truck, it's going to return that, right? So root get car or root get the intent is not null, and if the root get intent is not null, so like let's say you say null, it wouldn't get to this point because I'm checking for those 3 values. But in other situations where you're not checking for those 3 values, you might have hundreds of departments, and they're managing that JSON file, right? So you wouldn't be checking for each thing up here where I'm checking for truck, car, or motorcycle. You would be checking for you wouldn't be checking for anything, so you would want to make sure that they're not saying null, or there's not a value of null in that JSON. So checks for null, and then if it finds one of those, it's just going to return intent not found. And intent not found is another exit state, but that exit state goes the same way as the try again. So that's where it'll go. Else, and this is any other situation, you're going to get intent. I don't know why that's not the right variable. Some of this was copied from Colorado Children's demo project that we've done. So. But this is supposed to be intent info. It's going to get a map of that intent info from root get intent. So, and then it's saving. It's checking each of those values, doing null checks again. So null if it's not null and it's not empty. Then confirmation prompt, that local variable that we set up there, equals string get int info get confirmation prompt. So it's just setting that variable up there, and then it's also the local variable up there, and then it's also setting data, set session data, and then it's also setting that local variable to that session. So in the Java code, it's going to be available, and in the session in CDP, in the app call flow. So, and it's doing that for all the variables, even the ones that aren't in here. So like things like FAQ prompt, I think I deleted. Maybe, let's see. Yeah, it's not in there. So I mean, it's not failing. It's just not. It's running into that if statement. So I left that in. But it's going through each of the variables to see if it's there. If it's there, it's going to set it in Java, set it in, and then use that Java variable to set it in the session data. Let's see. Once you get in here, for some reason it sets them again. So data set session data as the variables that were set there. All right, and then exit state done, which means that we've hit the end of what we're wanting, and we're hitting that exit state of done, which here in my application goes here. There's two There's two states that let me make this bigger because I'm gonna need to see it now. There's two states that it can go down, and that's based off of the demo from Colorado Children's. So like we've got it's not in here, but there's a possibility that you're going to have a no confirmation menu, which means that the confirmation read prompt, confirmation prompt isn't going to happen. So if I added that variable back in, you could see something going straight to this is where it would transfer to, right? So back to the Java. So if the exit state equals done, it's going to go here, and then it's going to start playing the prompt, and then it's going to, this is another GDF. This GDF is just getting the values and then passing it here, which compares it with a decision editor. It just says if the value is no, then exit state no. If the value is yes, exit state yes. So for no, it goes back up here to the loop. And again, if you were using a real client, then you're not going to want to do that. You're probably going to want to transfer directly to an agent at that point in the call flow, or loop around, but obviously you're going to have some kind of limitations on that. But if you say yes, then it's going to say the reprompt, and then go here, and it says this is where it would transfer to the exit point. And these audios can actually be combined. I had an issue because the exit point variable was wrong, so I'm going to combine those two audios. But this is where it transferred to exit point. And then the last thing is there's a sub-dialog return that has hold on, that's wrong. So there's a sub-dialog return that is that's in another location is where they're going to have to actually send it to the priority queue. So we're passing this along from here. So we're going to go over the Java class and how that gets put into the app call flow so it can be utilized. So there's two things that I've run into that really helped me. First is this video here, the Cisco CVP Advanced Scripting. Here's the URL, or you can use a shorter one. I will also post those into the description in this video so that you can get it from there, because obviously that's going to be easier. So I'll remember to do that, but that's the first one. And then the second one is this page here. So the first step is actually I'm going to do the first step separate from this completely, because the first step is going here, window, preferences, Java, install JREs, and put in JRE 7 because I had issues with my code as I was going through it that was having errors. You're going to want to make sure that in dcloud has it installed in the same spot. It's just right here. It's already installed. I'm pretty sure I didn't install this. So, I mean, if it isn't installed, then install JR7, but you just look here. I think you can add it to this location. So that's step one. And then step two, we created a new Java class and extended from it action. We did decision based, but this would be element based. We did decision based, didn't we? Yes, I believe. Yes, this is the decision element. All right, so obviously for this it would be decision element based, but create a new Java class, extend it. Element interface. Some of these may not be valid for the decision element. Don't worry about those two. Do action, do decision. Yeah, so the action element is going to be do action. You're going to want to override do decision. Yeah, so that's that one. And then, so don't worry about that. Do override do decision instead, and then write your logic inside of do decision. And then, so inside of here, you're going to have to find your application. So properties, copy, cancel. All right, so you've got your bin folder. Example run test router. All right, so this file will update when you save your Java class. This file will be compiled and update here. So you're actually going to have to create the folder structure that you got here inside of your other one. So you can, instead of copying just this class folder, go up to com and copy it. So copy com, and then if you go to your application here, Java application classes, and this is where you would save it. So for me, I've saved com example Ryan test and my router class. So this is going to allow you to call that Java class from your action element inside of your app.callflow. So if you put that there, make sure you have the folder structure, com example, or com, whatever your folder is over here. You put that there, and then I'm pretty sure that's the next. Yes, close your application. You do have to close it. Reopen the app.callflow. Don't worry about this portion where you see your element under elements, local elements. Just add your, save that, go back to builder, elements. All right, so in here, you add a, oh God, where's my, here. So whatever you're doing, whether it's a decision or an action, you would add that element. So for me, it's a decision element. So you add the decision element in, and then in here you select from the drop-down. It should start with decision editor. You want to select from the drop-down instead class, and then you can just put your class source in here. So that's going to be your folder structure that you've gotten in there, com, example, Ryan test router. And then inside of here, all of the exit states that you've stated, so like error or done, you have to declare them here as exit states. So I've got error, try again, done, intent not found, and no confirmation menu. And all that does is allows you to have the lines from it in your exit states here. So that should be that. Outside of that, I haven't really, I've placed plenty of test calls from my own phone. Let me see if I can get it on here. Crap, what is the name of the thing that lets you call? Hangouts, right? Hangouts. All right. Yes. Okay. Let me get the number. 919-912269. All right. Okay. I'm going to give up on that and we'll just call it from my phone. So.
Calling Ryan's test app. You can say things like car, motorcycle, or truck.
Car.
Sure. I can help you booking the flight. What is your name? Thank you. You can say things like car, motorcycle, or truck.
Car.
Thank you. You are calling about car. Is that right?
Yes.
Got it. This is where it would transfer to. Cumulus.
I'm sorry. We are experiencing difficulties. Please call back at a later
It has
time.
an issue
Goodbye.
on this subdialog return. And that's just because I don't know how to transfer to the priority queues from dcloud, or really at all. Rakesh hasn't gone over that part of it yet, but so it is calling that PQ that's listed here. So when I said car, it goes through, does the reprompt. You're calling about the car. Got it. I don't have this in there actually. I need to do that. But it's the same message for all of them, so it's not really, it doesn't really matter. But exit point, cumulus. So it said, it says here, this is where it would transfer to, and then it says cumulus. So I've got the exit points here. I was trying to get it to go to the actual, oh no, go away, here. I was trying to get it to go to the actual priority queues inside of the dcloud demo. So give me just a second. Ready? They should pop up once I'm ready. Yeah, okay. So I was trying to send it to these priority queues that are already there inside of the demo, but I've got to figure out how to do that first. But basically you would have the app, and then as people called in, you could have the JSON file determine that. So if I go back to, so because of the nature of what I'm doing, I have this in here, but it's really just because Dialogflow has a whole bunch of intents in here that are for other apps that I didn't go back through and remove, like charity check balance. There's like a transfer, things like that. Like if it was just the 3 in there, then it wouldn't matter. But because I have this in there, it's not really going to work like that. But as a customer, I mean, once it's set up correctly, they can maintain this, and then it's automatically going to add those values to it. So like, let's say, they add boat to it. Then you're going to say you're calling about your boat. Is that right? And they would set that JSON up just by adding another JSON here, or another element to the JSON. And so you're calling about boat. Is that right? Got it. And let's say that later on they needed to change that transfer message. So instead of saying transferring you to a representative about your car, you would say transferring you to a representative. Please hold for as it may take time. Or transferring you to a representative about your car, please hold because it may take time. And they just want to add that message to it. Well, I mean, they can maintain it here. That's them. It's they maintain this JSON, and your application utilizes it. So that is how to create a call steering app, and that's the example of the one I did. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. You just shoot them over to me. But that is the example call steering app that I created. Thanks.